SRB Media.
Is it so you're lost in dreams beside the world? Wanna go?
Good evening, Gabby.
Good evening, TC, and welcome all to part 13, yes, 13 of our weekly podcast, The Curran View, with the idol of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran. God, 13, mate.
Have you had a good week?
Yes, I'm being rushed off my feet. I've just finished work, made sure that the babies are fed, and I said, right, I'm going up in the bedroom. It's our weekly podcast. A week's a long time in football, a week's a long time in life. But first of all, let's get kicked off with the numbers game. It is number 13 today. So let's talk about superstitions. Did you
never
have
had any?
No.
Never, ever had any.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. I never.
Never. Honestly, it's just not me.
Mm.
You know, I don't believe in anything. I really don't. You know, everything comes naturally, you know, in life. And to get to the top, you've got to work hard. But other than that, I've never been superstitious. Never been nervous for a game. The only time I was ever nervous was when I was taking my driving test.
Okay.
You know, on my clutch, my left leg was shaking like mad. And that's the only time I've ever been nervous.
How did you get on? And was that your first driving test that you was nervous with?
I failed my first one.
I failed my first as well. Second one I didn't turn up for. I got the wrong day. So I passed on my third.
To be honest, I mean, not when I think about it. I mean, when I took my second one, my first one, I couldn't believe they'd failed me. My second one, I made a couple of mistakes and they passed me.
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it? You know, how things turn out. Like, you know, you think, well, I failed this one, but you said you passed, so...
I remember when I passed, and times are very different now, but I remember doing the highway code and not doing very good. And the words from the female driving instructor were, if you don't brush up on your highway code, you'll kill someone.
I didn't know there were sat navs out in those days.
There wasn't. Honestly. And I thought, you've just said I could kill someone and you're passing me. How bad does that make you? Oh, dear God.
Anyway, we better get back to football.
We better add, yeah. Because it would be driving everybody balmy. Now, magic moment of this week. What was your magic moment or magic moment? And what did you take out from this week of watching football on the TV?
There's been plenty. I mean, it's a magic moment with Sheffield Wednesday winning with the new manager. So that was a great result for Sheffield Wednesday, and it's a big lift for fans and the club. But I've got to give it to Norwich. Yeah. I mean, I looked at Arsenal, and Arsenal cost me £918 on Sunday when they were 2-0 up. When the centre back has knocked the ball out. Edge of the box between the penalty spot, and he's gone straight to the opposition. Well, Norwich did the exact same thing, but they passed it out differently. You know, and I mean, I like it to play out from the back, but that was a bit ridiculous when you play it back through the middle like that. I mean, all you had to do was play it left. But the ball, what was played out, and then all the movement from Norwich, and then Pookie to knock the ball to Cantwell, and Cantwell scored a goal to take Manchester City on and go toe-to-toe with them and not be afraid of them. Fantastic goal, the second goal, absolutely. So I'm going with that Norwich one. But there's been plenty this weekend. You know, there's been some fantastic goals.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's something that I've said for many a year. When you fear a team, when you sit back from a team, when you invite that team that are good to come onto you, and they've got creative players, they've got skillful players, they've got fast players, they're champions. They surely are going to absolutely smash you.
Well, when you think about it, Gabby, if you sit back, you're letting them have the ball, and you know, exactly. You're trying to defend and you're trying to contain them, without trying to attack or trying to score a goal. And hoping that, you know, you'll get something from a dead ball scenario. You know, i.e. whether it's a corner, free kick, or a throw-in, that type of thing. Now, and if they get one early, you could get beat 3 or 4, or 4 or 5 against your Liverpools, your Manchester Cities, your Chelseas. But you can go head to head with them, and you can still get beat 4 or 5, and that's what the worry is when you play the top teams. Yeah. I played football for 15, 16, 17 years, whatever it was, and some players were petrified. When I say petrified, fearful of getting beat if we went to Manchester United.
Yeah.
If we went to Chelsea, and it never used to bother me, and I used to say, "Come on, we can beat these." But what happens is that the manager will talk a good half hour to 40 minutes about how good the opposition is.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it's going to make everyone's different. Everyone is different, and it's going to make some players what are already fearful even more fearful and frightened of making a mistake.
Yeah.
So I'm like you. We do seem to agree on a lot of things. Would we be successful? We don't know, because we don't know until we played that way, until we tried things. Yeah. But at least we'd have a good go at it. We'd have a good go at trying to win football matches. And I'm not silly enough, not to know how to defend. I mean, I've watched Van Dijk, and listen, I saw Van Dijk up in Scotland playing for Celtic. And I remember saying to Paul Wilson when I was coaching down at Doncaster, this kid's going to be a player. Yeah. He'll play in Premier League, this kid. And then obviously Southampton bought him. And what I've seen of him, he's done exceptionally well at Liverpool.
Yep.
But this season, and even last season, I saw glimpses of him doing making mistakes. But when John Stone and Otamendi make mistakes, everyone wants to have a go at him.
Exactly.
And the problem is they don't analyse it right, because what Manchester City's midfield do, the risk takers.
Yep.
They're trying to thread that killer ball through.
Yep.
Right, and so when they thread that ball, they'll all push on.
Yep.
And they can be vulnerable to a counter-attack. Now, they don't play. They play with an old midfield man, but the midfield man will get forward.
Yeah.
And one of the centre-backs will join in.
Yep. So
if it's Otamendi what's left there, it can be exposed. Yeah. And if it's John Stone, he can be. So people will say, Van Dijk's a better defender than them. They've got to think about it, because when Van Dijk plays with Liverpool, they play a more solid type of midfield trio.
Correct. Absolutely.
Protecting the back four.
Yep.
Right? Now, you're never going to see them get exposed. You never see the two centre-backs of Liverpool's joining in. You never see it.
No.
But when I hear people talk about it, when they're entitled to criticise, and I can see what, some of the things, what they're on about is right. I mean, what John Stone's got to do is stop making the silly mistake like the Arsenal boy did on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because regardless of what anybody tells me, Watford only got back into the game because of the mistake of the Arsenal defender playing the ball, a stupid ball.
Yeah.
Now, it's only a stupid ball if you don't give it to your own man, and he could have gone left or right, and he chose to go through the penalty box.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I could understand on that. But if anybody analyses it right and say, criticise John Stone, I'm all for it if he's not doing particularly well. But Liverpool defenders don't get exposed like Manchester City's, because Manchester City's back four are protected.
Yeah.
John Terry, absolutely great player. Make no mistake about it. And I know, I'll tell you when you're great players, when your fellow professionals say it. And when I look at John Terry, Ronaldinho put him in his team.
Yep.
Everybody puts John Terry in his team. But don't forget, when John Terry was playing at Chelsea with Jose Mourinho, they had two holding midfield players protecting that back four. And it was just a solid unit for Chelsea. Right? So it was very hard to get broken down. So it made them look even better, John Terry and them. But they are great players. But a team like Manchester City and the Barcelonas, they think nothing of gun-ho charging forward. Not charging forward without thinking about the game. They want to attack, and everybody wants to join in.
Yeah.
And they want to entertain. So we have to be pleased how some teams play to compare to other teams. And then people will say to me, "Well, what you saying? Well, why didn't you say that about the long ball game?" I'm not against long balls. I'm against it all the time.
Yep.
And that's what I'm against with long balls.
Uddy always, when I talked about and when I talked to you, and you both, and to be fair, when I've spoken to any former professional football player, it's not about you're against a certain way of playing. It's about mixing the game up. I posted up when Arsenal and also with Manchester City gave the ridiculous pass in a silly area about playing out from the back. There's nothing wrong with playing out from the back. There's a time and a place to do it. And the same with England. So if you've got, and I posted this up, you've got your 4 worst players, and let's be quite truthful. We're talking football. It's a football podcast. If you're a defender and a goalkeeper, you're playing in that position because you're not as good as your midfield players and your forwards. End of. There's no argument there. So if you're playing that game there and the goalkeeper's got it, and the goalkeeper plays a ball backwards to a centre half that's dropped to the byline, and you're boxed in, and you've got your 4 worst players against their 3 best players. It's like, it ain't rocket science where you think that ball's going to end up, and it generally does end up in the back of your net.
I will tell you one thing, Gabby.
Yeah.
Right? You're not wrong on that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what. Put a Jack Grealish in that position where that boy was. Yeah. This is what I keep trying to get across to people. Mm-hmm. Jack Grealish is so composed on the ball.
Yep.
He's not going to panic.
Yeah.
The boy, when I'm with that boy, if you watched it, if you've got Sky, you've got catch up on there, and you go to the Premier League games,
yep,
you watch it, the guy panicked.
Yeah.
He panicked because as soon as the kid come, all he had to do was play it out wide, right or left.
Yeah,
he went back across his goal, across the goal, right? But he didn't. He played it in. But if you watch it, you could see how he panicked, and that's why I said about why Jack Grealish is different from other midfield players.
Yeah,
he does not panic on the ball, and the more you can get players in your team like that, then you've got less chance of giving the ball away.
Well, we're on the subject of Jack Grealish because in our podcast we are carrying the campaign of Grealish for England. Because for me, in my opinion, and I think you echo those opinions, in my opinion, Jack Grealish is the most complete midfield player in the country that's English. Now, when I say that, okay, Jack doesn't score as many goals as some English players. I get that, the box-to-box play. I get all that. And you're absolutely right, where you try and educate the public daily, and sometimes people don't take what you're saying and try and argue the case about box-to-box players. But, for me, with your midfield players, and like Jack Grealish, I watched him against West Ham, and I purposely just watch. I'm not a Villa supporter. I support Birmingham City, but I love Jack Grealish, and I watched Jack, and he was the only player on that park, a midfield player, that was taking risks. And yes, he gave the ball away cheaply a couple of times late on when he was tired, but the amount of running that the kid did, and his composure on the ball, his precision of passing. If he was playing in a good team, people would be looking at Jack Grealish in a different way. And if Villa had got 2 decent forwards on that pitch, Villa would have gone in 3-0 up at half time.
Exactly. Now, on Jack Grealish, this is how I look at it with Jack Grealish compared to when other people are watching him play. When he takes that risk, is going to be more vulnerable than an Henderson.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you put him in when you put him in a Liverpool team, he's going to get more opportunities to score goals because he's playing with better players and a better team.
Yep.
He's going to have more options. And what I mean by more options, he's going to have more options to play the ball forward, but he's going to have more options when he gets the ball and he cannot do anything with it. He's going to have more options, other players being in around him, so he can play a simple pass.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't look at. They'll straight away, they'll look, once he's taken that risk to play that killer pass, right?
Yeah.
And it breaks down, and if they counter-attack and nearly score from it, that's where the maverick comes in.
Yep.
That's what everybody said. Well, that's why I can't trust him.
Yep.
That's why we'll never win no. We've not won no since 1966.
Yeah.
And I'll make this statement now. We will not win anything unless we can get John Stones in there, not making silly mistakes.
Yep.
Because I'm not interested in what they all tell me that he can't defend. He can defend.
Yeah.
He don't get protected like Liverpool do. He can defend.
Yep.
Until we get a world, and I'm not knocking the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is a steady keeper.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between steady and being a world-class goalkeeper. What's going to save you 9, 10, 12, 15 points a season by keeping clean sheets. Because some, your great goalkeepers are not in game, and they'll pull off that fantastic save when it's 0-0, and you've finished up nicking one, and you've got your 3 points. When Van Dijk when Liverpool bought Van Dijk from Southampton, I kept telling a friend of mine, I said, yeah, he's a great player, fantastic, but you'll never win now until you get goalkeepers.
Yep.
Until you get a world-class goalkeeper. Yeah. And now Edison. Right? Is Edison there? Alisson at Liverpool, isn't it?
Edison at Man City.
Alisson at Liverpool, Edison at Man City. Until you get world-class goalkeeper, they're never going to win now.
Yeah.
Liverpool look a different opposition now because the back four looks more stable and confident.
Exactly.
Right? And they've got the front three. The front three are as good as any front three in the world.
Yeah.
So for me, you put Jack Grealish in a Liverpool team, and people would think, well, and he improved him, Klopp. Yes, Klopp has improved him. Yes, Guardiola's improved Sterling. But the player's a good player. He's playing now with better players.
Yep.
And when he makes that pass, 9 times out of 10, that player knows who's going to receive it will make that run because he knows Jack's going to make that ball. He's going to have more options. And like I said, not only more options going forward to play the forward pass, but he's going to have more options in and around him, that he doesn't lose the ball as much because then he's an easy outlet.
Yeah,
that's what our coaches don't seem to see.
I agree. And again, he can play 1 touch, 2 touch, or he can run with the ball. He can go past the player.
He's got everything.
Exactly.
He's got everything.
Exactly.
Aston Villa is a big club.
Yeah,
this is what I look as a big club. You get everybody arguing about big clubs. I look at a big club. What fan base has it got?
Yep.
Right. Now, your big clubs that win trophies, they're special. Your Liverpools, your Man Uniteds, your Manchester Cities, your Chelseas, your Arsenals, Tottenhams and Wolves as years gone by, or yesteryear, whatever you want to call it. They're big clubs winning trophies. But I look at Newcastle. There's the other one, Sunderland. When you can get 40 and 50,000 people, they're big clubs.
Yep.
Now, not necessarily winning things, but that's what I class as a big club. A Villa's a big club.
Yeah.
But until it can get on a winning streak, like a Liverpool and a Man United and a Chelsea and a Manchester City, they're never going to get classed as that bigger club like everybody. Everybody thinks what Liverpool and all them are because they win trophies. I look at it, what fan base has it got? And if it's a big fan base, then it's a big club. It's just a matter of, is the directors going to think big and try and win things? Because that's the only thing what's up with Sheffield Wednesday. It's a massive club, but they've never had directors what's thought about going to win trophies, And so until we get something like that owning a football club, and when I say something like that, there's got to be a billionaire nowadays to buy these type of players. What they're costing now, these football clubs. So it's great that you can win trophies, but you can still be a big club. And Jack's with a big club, and they are good players. I'm not knocking us because I think they'll do quite well in the Premier League this season.
I do. And I think
what I think is, if he was with a Liverpool, because Liverpool would be ideal for him.
Yeah,
Manchester City, there's got quality in there, so whether he gets straight in or not, who knows? Because Foden's a good player.
Correct.
But how do you push De Bruyne out, and how do you push David Silva out?
Yep.
They've got quality all through that team, through the under-23s, under-21s. It's a fantastic run football club. So if Jack, and I don't mean to upset Villa fans, if Jack was playing for Liverpool, you'd all be, wow, what a player this kid is. We didn't see this. Well, it's there. Anybody can see it. He just needs to be playing with better players.
I also want your opinion. I've my stepson. I just walked in and had a quick chat with Tom. He was there Monday night. He follows Villa around the country and follows England. He's over in Bulgaria in October. He's a mad football fan. Great kid, knows his football. I just said to him, I follow lots of Villa groups because I'm in groups because I do quite a bit of stuff with Villa. I don't with Birmingham. Birmingham never really wanted to know me, but I've interviewed Brian Little and Peter With, and I'm doing quite a bit of stuff with Aston Villa's former players. Now, a lot of these groups are having a right pop at Jack Grealish, and a few of them, well, quite a few of them, are suggesting taking the captaincy off Jack Grealish and giving it to Tyrone Mings. If you was Jack Grealish, you was in that position, what would you think? I know what I think, but I would like your opinion before mine.
Well, Jack's got to do what he thinks is best for him.
Correct.
But if he asks me my opinion, him personally asks me my opinion.
Yeah.
If I was playing football today, I wouldn't look at social media now, only for the reason why.
Yeah.
It can upset. Honestly, Gabby, nothing's ever bothered me.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody talks about stick they get, whether it's the black man or the Scotchman or European, whatever. Everybody gets stick on. Nobody got more stick than me. Yeah. Nobody. But I could switch off.
Yep.
Right. He's not got to listen to other people because he can get people down. I don't think it'll get Jack down looking at him, but I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
But if he asks me my advice on that, right, people want to take it off him because he's becoming now a big name player. Yeah. You watch Cristiano. I don't know if anybody watched that Cristiano Ronaldo thing last night. Well, I've watched it through the day today. Fantastic interview, and he will now come across a lot better than what people thought. Yeah. And that's the problem with Jack. He's a young lad earning a vast amount of money, and the Birmingham, in and around the Birmingham area, because you've got Birmingham, you've got West Brom, you've got loads of clubs in that vicinity, all want to have a go at Jack. Yeah. Even some Villa fans. You could be the best player at Aston Villa among your peers and majority of your fans, but there'll always be some fans won't like you or dislike you. So he's got to try and ignore that, not look at the social media, because you can get into it. It affects your family. Once it affects your family, it then starts to affect you, or the players. So if I was him, I'd try and ignore that, work hard, go in every day, do extra training. I mean, on that Ronaldo thing, for the last 5 years, he hasn't had a day off. He's worked on his day off. Yeah. And what Jack's got to do is keep going in, working hard, keep doing the right things, and try and switch off from the outside world when he's not playing. And what I mean by that, he's got to interact when he's coming out of the ground and talking to fans like that. But social media can affect some players, Gabby. It can affect some players. You know it, because me and you are similar. Yeah. Even though you like Birmingham and I like Sheffield Wednesday, we're willing to praise the opposition if they play quite well, and if they've got a player, what we think, wow, what a player he is. I wish we'd got him. Yeah. And that's my advice I would give him. Because other than that, the kid, I'm like you. I think he could walk into majority of teams. Yeah. And it'd be a standout. It'd be a standout because not because he's playing, but it'd be a standout because the great players, what's around you.
Yeah. Now, you were the best player at Sheffield Wednesday by distance, and you were captain. If Jack come to you and says, "Terry, I'm taking a captaincy off you. I'm giving it to Liam McCulloch or anybody," what would you have said to Jack Charlton?
Okay, it's all right. A prime example. Yeah. I scored 23 goals one season. Yeah. I scored 9 from free kicks. Yeah. When Ronaldo were bending that, Ronaldo bending them, I was doing that. Yeah. In 1979. Yeah. I scored 9 goals from free kicks. Yeah. 9. We played Newcastle. Up at Newcastle. And when any player will tell you when you play up at Newcastle, maybe there's a bit more protection with it now, with all the 4 stands around it. But there'd be open ends when we played. So when it was windy, the ball would go flying all over. No player likes playing in the wind. Anyway, it was a really windy night there. The first 2 free kicks I hit went over bar. I remember Jack coming in at half time, you're not taking no more free kicks. You've done. I said, it's all right, Jack. Let somebody else do it. But now, because I know where you're coming from, it can affect some other people.
Yep.
But honestly, you can ask anybody what played with me. Prime example, Blake at Birmingham. When you looked at him, you wouldn't want to say Dicky Bird to him in a dark alley. But it never bothered me.
Yeah.
I said to Barley, I said, he's a complete nut of him. But tell him he ain't going to frighten me.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean that in a nasty way.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from with that. It can affect people, and it does affect people by taking. You cannot. You shouldn't do it unless it's for the right reason.
Yep.
Right. But other than that, why would people want to do it? Why would they want to take the armband off him? It's not him what's causing the problem.
Exactly.
It's not him what's causing the problem. They're just not at the level where the top 5 or 6 teams are. Now, at the end of the day, me and you cannot stop other people expressing their opinions, and they're entitled to express their opinions. But I'm like you.
Yeah.
He will shine through, and then what will happen? The people will turn around and say, well, we all knew we were going to be a world-class player. But I'm the wrong person to ask. You're better off asking somebody. If we knew somebody when it's been taken off them how they felt.
Yeah.
But I have seen it with people, get disheartened and heads get down and things like that. But I'm hoping he's a strong man, and and to be honest, he does look a strong man.
Yeah.
So he can handle it if they did take it off him.
Well,
it wouldn't make it any difference to him personally. I don't think it would. But you just don't know, Gabby. You really don't know.
No, you don't. I mean, I just talked to Tom and was on about that, and I said if I was Grealish and they took it off me, I'd put a transfer request in. That's the way I'd look at it. You're disrespecting me. You've given me the captaincy. You've given me that. You're taking it off. You're making an idiot of me. I'd put a transfer request in if the gaffer took the captain's armband off me. But again, we're all different.
I think him and Dean Smith get on really well, and I've listened to Dean Smith speak about him, and he speaks very, very highly of him. And even he says, he can go and play in any team, know. But you see, reporters have got a job to do.
Yeah.
Pundits have got a job to do, right? But sometimes it's them what can get a player dropped from the team.
Yeah, definitely.
Or get the captain's armband off it.
Yep.
Because when you hear people turn around and say they're so disorganised.
Yep.
Now, have you just seen the quality of the ball, what's gone in?
I know.
And choose what you do, you would never going to stop that goal because the quality of the ball. Now, when it's a mistake, I get that. I get it. But to say they're disorganised, Manchester City's Norwich's first goal against Manchester City, that zonal marking, I don't like the zonal marking because your job is, as a manager, you take Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
And if he gets there before you, then we know it's your fault.
Yep.
Right? Now, if he gets there and it's a quality ball, I will hold my hands up and say, forget it, Gabby. You could do nothing about that. That was a quality ball. But they don't even see when it's a quality ball, some of these pundits. They'll just say it's bad marking.
Yeah.
So look, the kid's a great player. I think he's going to play for one of the big teams. When I say one of the big teams, he's going to play for one of the teams what's going to be competing for European Champions Leagues and FA Cups, Europa Cups. He's going to play for one of those teams within the next couple of years. That's my opinion of him.
You mentioned free kicks probably 5 or 6 minutes ago. Let's talk about Jack, not Grealish, but Jack Charlton, when he took you guys to one side, and he almost invented his own free kick, didn't he? And you were rolling around laughing when you're at it.
Well, that was the incident when we played up at Newcastle.
Yeah, exactly.
We got beat 1-0.
Yeah.
And imagine this in your head, this, Gabby. It's coming after the dressing room. In my day, teacups would be flying, tea would be flying all over, water bottles would be flying all over.
Was he really fiery, Jack? Did he do? Yeah.
Oh, yes, he was. Oh, yes, he was. When he wanted to be.
Yeah.
There'll be times when you get beat, and he'd say, "Well, look, you didn't deserve to get beat, but if we hadn't played particularly well,
yeah,
he would rip into you." Anyway, he ripped into me this night. But not because we absolutely battered Newcastle.
Yeah.
Right. But because we got beat, and it's his own town club, it was my fault because of free kicks. And he come in, "You will never take another free kick from me. That's you done with free kick from me." And I just turned around and said to him, "Let somebody else take him, Jack." But there'd be a swear word in that, I said, "Let somebody else take him." Anyway, the next day he had us all in, because usually after a game you get a day off.
Yeah.
So we're all in. Now, imagine this in your head. Jack's 6'3", 6'4", right? And he's coming walking across the training pitch, right? The tracksuit is about 4 or 5 inches above his ankles. He's got one football sock on and one ordinary sock, right? With a pair of football boots. And he's he's pushing his hair over with his arm.
Yeah.
So when he gets down, and I'm half laughing, right? And as I'm laughing, it sets other people off laughing.
Yep.
So when everybody starts laughing, it becomes awkward. He said, "If you're not going to do this right, you might as well get into the changing rooms and get a shower." Anyway, we stopped laughing. He said, "Right, I've had a dream." And don't forget, Jack's got every coaching badge out.
Yep.
At that time. He said, "I've had a dream, right? You're not going to be on free kicks, TC. I'm going to put Mego on it. But I want a wall." So he put a wall up, and he said, "I want you and Bano to be standing in front of the wall. And I want you to come to run towards me. And as you come to run towards me, I want you to bend. And I'm going to whip this onto your back or onto Bano's back, and it's going to go into goals." Right? Now, if I'm telling you a lie, there's Bob Boulder there, there's Mick Pickering there, there's Mel Sterling there, there's Gary Megson there, there's Ian Mellor there, there's Andy McCulloch there, there's Ray Blackall there. All the lads are there. So if I'm telling you a lie, they will prove that I'm not lying about it.
Yeah.
The ball hits Bano on the back and goes into net. I couldn't stop laughing. He said to everybody, so he sent me off at training ground. Not for, being disruptive, but I couldn't stop laughing, when you could, and it came off. So after training, so we all used to go down at cafe and get a cup of tea and a bacon sandwich or a bit of cheese on toast, whatever we had after training. We'd all used to congregate in a cafe. And one of the lads, I think Mego or was it Bano, to him, I said, "Is he serious, TC, about doing that?" I said, "Look, we all know what Jack's like, He said, we're not going to try that. And I don't think we did try it.
Yeah.
But it's unbelievable how they think some of these things up. But that's a true story. Yeah. And I mean a true story.
He was
unbelievable.
He was different class, wasn't he, Jack?
I didn't like the way how we played.
No. Yeah.
He's my favourite manager.
Yeah.
To go out. Howard Kendall, you could have a right to good night out with, but Jack would have laughed. And I think Jack didn't realise how funny he was.
Mm.
He'd say something, we'd all start laughing, and he didn't realise it was funny what he was saying.
Yeah.
So I love Jack a bit. I didn't like the way he wanted us to play football, but there's one thing, I gave 100% for Jack Charlton.
Yeah.
Because I did respect him. When you win the World Cup and when you won league titles and everything, FA Cups and League Cups, you've got to show that respect. And listen, when a football manager or an ex-player becomes a manager and he's won those things, 99.9% you do give him that respect. Yeah. So I did love Jack as a person. He's my favourite manager as a person.
Let's go from Jack to Jock, and we're following your nipper, Jock Curran. Every week we're looking at his progress. A professional footballer at Grimsby Town, currently on loan at Lincoln. Stop laughing, TC. You and the missus went for a glass of wine on his last game. Did it get any better this week for Jock?
No.
Oh, okay.
They got beat again.
Oh my God!
Right, and they didn't bring him on. And you see, I can see why they don't bring him on.
Yeah. Because
the way how they're playing, and they're at bottom of the league, and it's just a big lump up front.
Yep. Pointless.
And when I say this, people say, well, they should be saying, well, how do I describe it?
Yeah.
They're playing out from the back.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. They get it. They just kick it forward. People chase the ball up, and it gets kicked back. So the fright to play the young kids and get the ball down and play it. So that's what is happening. So I wasn't going to go down, but I said to Tom, his brother, my eldest son, I said, we're going to go down and give him some support. I said, but he's not playing, and we'll see what weather's like when we get down there, and we'll go into the bar and we'll watch Sky Sports results.
Yeah.
Soccer Saturday. But the cricket was on when we got there, because there's a cricket ground attached to it.
Yeah.
Well, just at the side of it. So we finished up having a glass of wine and watching cricket. So, and then we went into the second half, you know, but after 2 minutes we were 1 goal down.
Yeah.
But what can I say? I can only tell you the truth.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's a poor team, and it's poor football. You know, I'm not going to go in there and pay £10, and I'm not tight with money. I'm not going to go in there and pay £10 to watch that. Like I said, I don't mind paying £60 to watch a Manchester City over Sheffield Wednesday, but I don't want to pay £10 to watch that. And I mean, it's not football I like. So it's hard. It's hard for them. It's hard for the manager because the results are not coming. Then people are fearful of losing. So I can only tell you as I see it and the truth of it. But until he gets that body, until he grows into a man's body, right? Until his body grows into a man's body, you know, he's going to struggle there. I guarantee the way how they play. He's got to be playing with the team what's going to get the ball down and play. But once his body fills out, Gabby, I'll guarantee you, the kid's a player. Yeah. I will say that. He's going to be a decent player.
He's definitely one to watch, and I know that a lot
yes,
of people...
definitely one to watch. I promise you that.
On your Facebook pages are always asking...
Here's one for you. Here's one for you. Right? Mason Greenwood.
Yes, Man United.
He's Solskjaer's talking about him today.
Yeah.
Best finisher he's seen.
Okay.
And I said, I played with some great players. I'm watching Jock. Jock was 13, 12. Greenwood is a year younger than Jock.
Yeah.
So I'm watching Jock, right, in one of these summer soccer tournaments when the kids.
Yeah.
And there's 4 or 5 games going off. Mm-hmm. I turns around, I'm watching this team here. I thought, you know, this kid looks a player. Tony, who's now got the Black Tony, who's gone to Manchester City, but he's a scout at Manchester United. Right? I goes across and I said, Tony, there's a kid there. Right? And I know a couple of the Leeds scouts what were there. And I said to Tony, I said, look, he's a Man United player.
Yep.
Right? He was 12.
Yeah.
Right? So is Jock going to be like him? Not until he fills that body out. But this kid's body is filled out at that age.
Yeah.
You know, it was way above, but he's kept progressing.
Yeah.
Mason Greenwood. So that's the type of player. What I said to Tony, who now is a scout for Manchester City, go get that kid. He said, "Are you sure, Terry?" I said, "I'm sure. He's a Man United player." You know, so I'm not a bad judge of a player. I played with a kid at Huddersfield called Phil Wilson, and Dennis Oates, who was from the next village up, and there was a kid there at Leeds. And I says to Phil, you've got to get this kid into academy because he was in development. And Phil was only a small lad, no bigger than Billy Bremner and them, but stocky like they were. And he said, yeah, I've seen him, Terry. He says, he's not bad, but he's too small. Yeah. Know that kid? Know what that name is? Anyway, I went to see Terry Potter. I said, listen, Terry, this kid, you need to get him into your academy. All right?
Yep.
He said, are you sure, Terry? Anyway, they've got him, Jamie Shackleton.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Phil's played the game.
Yeah.
It's too small. Now, if they're too small and they're not good enough, I get it.
Yeah.
But you know when they're small and they're good. So when I tell you Jock's going to be a player, he'll be a player. I tell my eldest son, so Thomas, you're never going to be a footballer. Forget it. Take up snooker. You know. And you know why I told him to take up snooker? because he's got a good left foot.
Yeah.
Right. But is that idle? He don't get out of bed until 4 o'clock. So he's no good in playing football because he's not going to run around on a football field. And his mother said to me, "Why you said that to him?" I said, "Because I'm telling him the truth. I'm not like other parents, what's going to kill him." So when he gets to 16, he starts crying. "You tell me I was going to be a good footballer."
Yeah.
You know, you have to be honest with him.
Yeah. 100%.
So I will keep you informed with Jock, and I will let you know the truth about him. I'm not going to beat behind the bush.
Yep.
You know, the way how they play, it's no good to him because it's just 60-yard boots upfield, and it comes back and back and back, and that's all it's doing. So when I say those type of players I recommended, look where they are now. Jock will be a player. He will be a player, but he's more behind them because of his physicality side of him.
Yeah. And this is what I always say about former pros and football clubs. Why they don't engage more with you guys, it beggars belief. Because you know what it takes to be a player because you were a player and you've been in that environment since you were a nipper.
Well, but even some players, what's played the game. I mean, I see some of the players, what these people sign, and I think they're saying, what planet have these come from? Have these come from Mars or something? Because, you know, who said these were players? You know, and it takes all sorts of players to make a football team. I get that.
Yep.
You've got to have a right balance in it.
Yep.
You know, and like I said to you, there is no point of Tony Adams going working at Wycombe Wanderers. There is no point because he's going to have to play how they play.
Yep.
He's going to have to play. His team's going to have to play how they play, because when he's at Arsenal and they're telling him to do one thing, once I've told him that's it, it's done. You're having to repeat yourself at that level.
Yep.
I played at that level. That was my first club, Doncaster Rovers. So I played all the way through. So I know what it's like to be at that level. I know what it's like to be at that level. But if you've been at that level all your life, through the academies and everything else nowadays, it's hard for them to go and coach at that level. That's why I was glad that Gerrard's gone in at Rangers and Lampard went in at Derby.
Yep.
And they've got more chance of succeeding than they have, like a Paul Merson did at Walsall.
Yeah.
It's not going to work, that. When you look at all the great managers on the continent, you know, Ancelotti and all them, they didn't go and start at the very bottom. You know, Guardiola went to Barcelona B team, and they were struggling, so he was a rookie, but he was a great player. And you know, I mean, the members aren't there at those football clubs, Real Madrid, and
yes,
you know,
yep.
So and there was they went over to speak to Jose Mourinho, but Laporte gave it to Guardiola.
Yeah,
you know, and he was a rookie. So the top players, the top managers in foreign countries, all succeed. Nearly all succeed because to get the top jobs in their countries. Yep. We want ours to start at the bottom. What for?
I know, it's crazy. I have this debate and argument so many times. You've actually learnt your trade by being a professional footballer for X amount of years.
Exactly. Gabby, Capello's won everything in football.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Capello won everything in football.
Yep.
Looked a bad manager for England.
Yeah.
And yet he got Gerrard and Lampard and all them.
Yeah.
Looked a bad manager. Ericsson done well in Europe. We England, they look bad managers.
Yeah.
And then you give it to somebody like Graham Taylor, right? And I tell you, I'll never forget that. Listen, they can put. I saw Cristiano Ronaldo going on about on his tombstone. I'll tell you what they can put on mine. Maggie Thatcher, your boys have had a lesson tonight. Winston Churchill. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, no wonder why we're laughing stock of Europe, us.
Yeah.
You know, so you've either got it or you haven't at football management, and you've got to be brave, because if you show the players that you're fearful of the opposition, the players will know it. The players will know it. Experience means nothing. It's whether you're good enough for the job. 100%. And you'll never know until you give the man the job, Gary.
100%. I remember watching a video, or I was reading somewhere. I forget now how I come across it, but it was when Spurs played Atletico Madrid in the European final that they won. what was it, 1963, the Cup Winners' Cup final, and the manager, Bill Nicholson, was telling all the Tottenham players how great Real Madrid were, and they were a great team. And he went through the old drill about how brilliant, and watch them. And Danny Blanchflower sat up and he says, "Look, I'm looking around my dressing room and I've got Bobby Smith, I've got Jimmy Greaves," and he went through all the team. He says, "Do you know what? We ain't a bad team ourselves. We're Tottenham. We roll our sleeves up. We'll go and fight. And we're going to go out and we're going to give it them Spaniards." And, they're beaten 5-1. And the player said it was Danny Blanchflower that won in that game and not the manager.
Because players know, Gabby.
Exactly.
Players know.
Exactly. And this is my point all the time. Players know because, and what seems to annoy certain supporters, Ray Houghton used to say this an awful lot on TalkSport, but you've never played the game. And then his co-commentators seem to get a bit wound up with that. I don't. I've played the game to a certain level. I've never played the game to a professional level. Professional players have played the game and know what the game is all about. We don't. We're fans.
I'm open. What he means by that.
Yep.
I'm not against anybody what's not played the game.
No,
I'm
exactly.
Not. When I say he's played the game, what I mean by this, a player saying to a manager, "Gaffer, we know. Listen, we as a team, we need to know what they do on free kicks."
Of course you do.
Right? But even if we didn't know, what they're going to do, they're either going to put the ball down and take a quick free kick. Now, what we don't know, if they've done something what we haven't seen before, right? Then we've got to be switched on.
Yep.
But we have to be switched on for corner kicks because we know 9 times out of 10 they're either going to put it into near post, or they're going to put it in between the centre spot and middle of the goal.
Yeah.
And we've got to pick up runners, and we've got to go with men, and we haven't got to leave men, and we haven't got to let men. So we do know. I understand that. What I mean by saying we play game is because he can say to the manager, "Hang on a bit, Gaffer. We know how good they are, but praise us a little bit."
Exactly.
Because if you said to Jimmy Greaves, you see there, because I did know this, Shankly used to do it because I knew one or two players what they used to tell us, and he used to go and say to them, "I've just seen them go for coach and they're shitting themselves." And you, Ron Yates, you are twice better than Malcolm McDonald. So he made him believe. Not that we have to be careful of Malcolm McDonald. He's got pace, he's got this, he's got that. You don't give him a chance to score goals. At any level, people will score goals if you give them a chance.
Exactly.
That's what I mean about it. A player will say to a manager, it's not that you're having a go at him, the manager. What are you trying to say? Hang on a bit, Gaffer. We know that, but praise us a little bit. Stop making us be fearful of them before we go out. And that's what I mean about playing the game.
But again, for me, when players have played the game, they have played the game and we haven't. And I remember what you were saying about Bill Shankly when Kevin Keegan played against Bobby Moore, and he said, "Son, I've just seen Bobby Moore. He looks as though he's been up all night. He looks as though he's been on the ale. He looks the worst that I've ever seen Bobby Moore play." And then when Kevin Keegan played well against him, he said, "Son, you're never going to play against a better player than Bobby Moore. He looked $1 million today." And that's man management. And that's
ex-Liverpool players say that on the after dinner circuits.
Exactly.
But they'll tell you it's true. He used to say it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And it comes across funny, and we do laugh at it. But he did used to say about it. When I was playing at Southampton, I'd left Liverpool, right? But but many invited him into our dressing rooms, and he'd come in, and he said, "Give me team talk, Bill." He said, I've been watching them boys get off the bus there, lads. And they are petrified of you, He would say things like that, exactly. And you smile at it, and you think, honestly, all the worries would go. All the worries would go, because in a dressing room, I'll let you all know, there is people want to put the socks on last. There's people putting the hands down the throat to make them sick, going into toilets. There's people get the Vic. They used to get Vic, get a lump of Vic, put it down the throat and swallow it. People go and sit in a hot bath. I couldn't be in the dressing room because he used to drive me around and twist. But having said that, I was more interested in watching quarter 3 race than watching someone else be sick in the dressing room. But I mean, that's a true story. I mean, I played at Hull, and I was playing for Huddersfield Town, and there were a horse called Pebbles, and one of the lads from the village, Fat Man, brilliant. Everybody loves him, Fat Man. Always got a smile on his face. And God rest his soul. He's passed away now, Fat Man. But I got him some tickets. Him, Dennis, his brother, Kev Kelly, their Joey, and because they're all big Huddersfield Town fans. Anyway, I got him some tickets. But I was on bus at 20 to 3, watching. We didn't do television, but I was listening to radio. I'd backed an horse called Pebbles. Steve Cawthon rode it. Sheikh Mohammed's horse. Anyway, there's a bang on the door. It's Fat Man. He's laughing his head off. He says, "Has I got radio on?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm listening to this race." He said, "I backed Pebbles." I said, "I have." So they come on bus. Who comes on bus then? Mick Buxton. And he says to me, he said, "We've got a match. It's nearly quarter 3. What are you doing on bus?" I said, "I'm listening to this race, boss. I've just backed Pebbles, me and Fat Man." And Fat Man just couldn't stop laughing. But this is the quarter 3,
Yeah.
because I didn't want to be in the dressing room. I didn't want to be in the dressing room because of that. But I mean, I'd sooner watch a horse race and be in the dressing room. Do you know what I mean? But that's what a dressing room's like.
Yeah.
People go and sit in a bath. I mean, they go out now because they all go out to train in a warm-up.
Yeah.
But you'll still get them. Somebody will want to put the shorts on last. Somebody will not put a shirt on until they get into the tunnel. Some of them will try to make themselves sick before the game. Some of them, I don't know if they do that now, but in my day, that's what they used to do, players. And, that's an insight into a dressing room before a game.
Exactly. And again, it's only being involved in that environment that you understand that environment. I remember Brian Little telling me about the dressing room at Villa Park when he was like 16-year-old kid. He said he used to have a chuckle. There were like different groups in there lighting up fags, telling jokes. And he said he learned so much from the dressing room. And that dressing room area, I think it'd be a great book there, The Tales of a Dressing Room. I think there's some brilliant stories, isn't there?
Well, I mean, Robbo become absolutely a great player at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
But he'd been there.
Yeah, he had, yeah.
For a while.
Yep.
They were playing him in midfield. They played him out wide, played him back into midfield. And when I got there, regardless of what anybody says, Brian Clough weren't over keen of Robbo.
Yeah.
He used to call him the Scruffy because Robbo had always got a pair of hush puppies on. And he weren't the best dresser, great kid. But he'll tell you, he weren't fashion conscious, weren't Robbo. But when we set off like an house on fire. That season I got promoted.
Yeah.
Promoted. And he's playing out of his skin. And Robbo at half time would go in, get a cig, because he wears long sleeve shirt, took a cig under his shirt, then go into the toilet, and sit in the toilet and have a fag.
Yeah.
And then Clough would turn around and say, "Where's that fat little bastard gone?" For a cig. But then he said, once Robbo started to play well, and then Clough really started to like him.
Yeah.
They'd ask him questions, about what do you think the game had happened today? What was happening in the game? He said, "Don't worry about it. We've got a little fat lad on the left wing. He'll destroy you." The tales in the dressing room. That's what everybody misses. Players.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't miss football.
Yeah.
I miss the dressing room, the banter with the lads. Yeah. When all the lads say they miss football, there is players what do miss football, but majority of them miss the banter in the dressing room.
But that's how Cloughy was as well, wasn't he? Because I remember doing a bit of stuff with Davy Langan, and he never called him Davy. He always used to call him the Irishman.
Well, I don't know why he did that, because he always used to call everybody by the first name.
Oh, right, okay.
And then when I signed for him, and because my name is Edward, it's Ted, really.
Yeah.
When I signed, and I put it on, I'd had it in papers for ages about it. I said, "My name's not Terry, it's Teddy." So he used to call me Edward.
Yeah.
But even then, he's finished up calling me Terry. So that's how it stuck. But listen, the stories what in them dressing rooms. When I wrote my book, I just wrote about my life as getting into football.
Yeah.
I never wrote about the tales of what really happened in football. I mean, there's some tales I could tell you what happened in football. People would die.
But I
But
think
it's a great life. I will say that. It's a fabulous life.
again, I think there is another book in there. There's books. Uddy's writing books. He's always writing. As soon as he wakes up and he gets on his bike and he's out of bed, he's putting on Jack Jones or Frank Sinatra, and he's there writing. And between you two, you have got so many tales. I think going forward, the tales of two Mavericks. I think there's a lot of there's some legs in that, and put a little bit of the music. We've got Jimmy Coburn that plays us in with Dream Forever, and tonight we're going to go out with one of my favourite artists, Kelly Finnegan. Since I can't even remember, I can't even remember the damn song, but
we're getting old, Gabby.
I tell you honestly,
well, I am anyway.
Yeah, Since I Don't Have You Anymore, it's called. It's on the Coal Mine record label. They're a brilliant record label in Ohio, and that's how I get involved through social media and look up things and interact with people. Because in the old days, we used to have radio and used to have proper media, but for me, it's all controlled now, so I find all my own stuff.
Yeah.
But I do like this artist, and please forgive me, Kelly. It's Since I Don't Have You Anymore. That's the second time I've repeated that. And the Tales That People Tell, it's an album. It's his debut album. But there are just so many talented people out there. So I think between everything and between all of us, I think we could put on one hell of a show.
There's a lot of talented people what's not even made it.
Absolutely.
That's been bypassed. There is a lot of talent out there.
No, absolutely. I think things are set up, like Uddy will always say when he was given his first England cap, he was given the first England cap to fail. And I think so many kids these days, it's the system is set up for them to fail.
When that manager doesn't like you or doesn't want you, make no mistake, that is a fact. I'll tell everybody that is a fact. They did the same with Charlie George.
Yep.
And that was a crime. I mean, that was a crime what they did with Uddy and Charlie. I think Uddy played 2 games and Charlie George 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Diabolical. I think Stan Ball's got about 6 or 7 games. Same as Frank Worthington. They're risk takers.
Yeah.
They don't want risk takers.
No.
They want people what they think they can call reliable. No, there isn't reliable. That's reliable to get beat.
Yeah. 100% totally agree. And finally, because we started this podcast on podcast 2.
I know where you're going to come from now. I can't help being. Listen, I've always been good at picking things. Go on. You're
4-1 up, mate. You're absolutely killing.
Well, say it again. I didn't hear it.
You're 4-1 up. You're absolutely
4-1. I didn't realise I was 4-1 up. Sorry, go on.
You're 4. TC4, Gabby 1. I'm having an absolute mare. The 5 games this week because. Sheffield Wednesday are playing Fulham. As people that do follow the podcast, Fulham are my prediction to win the league.
Yeah.
And your team is Leeds that are sitting at the top of the table. So we've got Everton versus Sheffield United.
Everton win.
Okay. We've got Birmingham versus Preston.
They're playing well, that Preston. I'm going to go for a draw.
Okay.
Draw.
So put you down for a draw there. We've got Arsenal versus Aston Villa.
I'm going to go for an upset here. Aston Villa.
Yep, I think you could be right there because Arsenal do let you in. The game of the day, and I don't mean it's the best team, it's the best players, but it's Leeds United versus Derby. And we've talked a lot about Brian, and we always do talk about Brian, and God rest his soul. And Leeds and Derby in the day was one of the biggest rivalries in football. So they're going head to head this weekend, although it's in the Championship and not the Premier League. So what's your forecast for that game?
Well, obviously, I would like to see Derby win because it's one of my old teams. But like you say, I've gone for Leeds to win the Championship. I'm a very big admirer of Bielsa's, and I do like Philippe Coco at Derby, and I think he'll get it right, given time there. But I'm going to go for a Leeds win.
Okay. And finally, your club, Sheffield Wednesday, against my tip for the Championship, Fulham.
Well, There's only going to be one result there this weekend. We beat Huddersfield last week. You know, it's going to be more convincing this week, so I'm going to go for a Sheffield Wednesday win.
Right, well, what I'm going to say, everybody, now is TC will either be 5-1 up, or I'm going to pull it back to 4-2. Because I'm going to agree with you there with Everton. Birmingham City never do what I expect them to do. So I'm going to go for a Birmingham City win, because I think they're going to draw. So I'm going to go Birmingham win. Arsenal versus Villa, I'm going to go for a draw. Leeds and Derby, I'm going to go for a draw. And Sheffield Wednesday and Fulham, I'm going to go with Fulham to beat your boys. So I think you're probably...
You know something, Gabby? You just remind me of some football managers I played under. You know, always sitting on the fence.
And
by the way, if we're going to do this Tuesday next week,
yes,
we'll have to make it Wednesday Tuesday. Like again the last 2 weeks, because I'm going to watch Wednesday and Everton next Tuesday.
Is that the cup game?
Yes.
Are you going to be star of the day? Are you going to be...
Yes, I've been invited down, but I'm going to see my boyhood team, the team I love, beat another team who I play for, Everton. And we are going to knock Everton out of the Carabao Cup next week.
And it should be a live game because, you know, all joking apart, they're two great teams. Sheffield Wednesday and Everton. Also, FA Cup final 1966.
Yes, that's when I started supporting Sheffield Wednesday. Jimmy Callaghan was my favourite Sheffield Wednesday player of all time. I mean, we've had some great players down there. We have had some fantastic players down there, you know, but Jimmy Callaghan was my favourite player.
Can you hear my phone going off? I think it's my wife downstairs saying, your hour's up, your dinner's on the table, and if you don't get your backside down there, Paul, within 30 seconds, it's going in the dog. Having said that, I haven't got a dog. I've got 2 cats. They're probably going to share it. So
go and enjoy your tea.
So TC,
have a great weekend, pair of you and family. And let's hope that both our teams win this weekend.
As always, love to you and yours. Let's hope we're both singing the blues, and we're going to go out with Kelly Finnegan and Since I Don't Have You Anymore. Thanks, TC.
Thank you, Gabs, and have a good weekend.
Cheers, pal.
See you next week.
Bye. Ta-ra, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.